Hi everyone and welcome for a new episode of Dubai Wellness Talk. I am thrilled today to receive a personal friend and someone who has a lot of experience to share in this podcast and in this talk show. Please everyone welcome Moustafa. Hi Moustafa, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good. How about you? Hi everyone, it's good to be here.
Good to have you. Moustafa, we know each other since a long time, but I will ask you to introduce yourself for the people who doesn't know you, people who are watching. So who are you, Moustafa?
Sure. So my name is Moustafa. I'm French of Moroccan descent. I was born and grew up in Paris, moved to Dubai around 14 years ago now. Work as a corporate banker, and I'm also a 200 hours registered yoga teacher, as well as a calisthenics and HIIT instructor. Very good.
So this is why I want you to be here on the talk, because Moustafa, you're one of this character who was in corporate banking and corporate industry in general, and who moved step by step to the point that you really seriously moved into the wellness industry with yoga. Yoga was your first move into it. So this is why I wanted to talk to you. I want us to discuss for two different reasons. The main one is being a male yoga teacher. It's something that I know because if you know me, guys, you know that I'm also a yoga teacher. My first couple of questions will be in this. So how did you get into yoga, and how was it being into the yoga field, the yoga industry, as being a man?
Yeah. So first of all, how I got into yoga, I got interested into yoga by my brother, actually. I think it was around 16 years ago.
Oh yeah, really? I didn't know.
Yeah. So I remember I was working, and then he told me, come after work to yoga class, right?
Okay.
So I had no idea what yoga was, and so I showed up in a suit and tie at a yoga class. And my brother looks at me in disbelief. So thankfully he had like a swimming short in his trunk that he managed. Exactly. So the next thing you know, I'm in a yoga class, and there's a yoga instructor. You have perhaps 20 ladies who are like in the proper yoga outfit. My brother, who's in a proper yoga outfit.
Okay.
And then there's a guy at the back of the room in brown Italian leather shoes, slim fitted shirt, trying to do Skandasana. I could barely twist. It was an experience. And my brother was just looking at me and shaking his head. And the yoga instructor was kind enough not to mention anything.
Okay.
So that was my first encounter.
So where was that, you said?
That was in Paris. That was in
right.
Paris, actually. So that was my first encounter with yoga. Okay. But then back then I could see the physical benefits of yoga. It was actually making me stronger in my other physical practices, other sports.
So when did you feel that? Like after how many weeks of practice? Or it went fast, or it took some like commitments?
Yeah, I think it took commitments. I mean, it was sporadic. I think the first time was in 2006, and then took really a couple of years to really get into it. And then I could really see the difference, because obviously yoga works a different set of muscles that other workouts don't necessarily do.
All of them.
But then I really did deep dive into yoga actually in my early 30s. As
crisis. The wonder, when you wonder why I'm here, what I'm doing. Let's do yoga.
Exactly. I think the 30s are actually your
30s.
First corner, you know? It's the first corner. Your body changes, your mind changed.
My first yoga class, 31.
There you go. And I actually started to develop anxiety and panic attacks. And you know, it's funny, because if you told me that one day I would be able to sit and share that, I would never thought I would be able to do that. But so, and the thing is, the funny thing is, this wasn't really triggered by a loss of a loved one or an issue, but it was just, I think I was at a stage in my life where I was in a plateau. I was not growing anymore. It was after a few years in Dubai, so I was in the same job, and I think I was too much in a survival mode, right?
I see.
Because I think in life you either are in a creation mode or in a survival mode. And when you stop creating, this is when you don't feel good about it, because I think the essence of life is to grow.
Stagnation, yeah.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, some people were saying like, it's like a bicycle. Either you fall, either you move forward. Yeah, bad life.
Exactly.
Right? So you were in this phase. This is what
triggered it, and I tried to numb it. You know, I tried to ignore it. So I was trying to ignore it with with excesses, partying and so on and so forth. But of course, it didn't really sort it out.
All right.
So when you're in that stage of anxiety and panic attacks, of course you want to get out of it, because actually you don't recognize yourself anymore, right? There's this kind of separation that I remember I was lying down on my bed, and it's a bit weird because you cannot live with yourself in a way. It feels like you have a tormentor inside your head when you have anxiety, because you have a lot of thoughts, your mind is spinning. So it's a very unpleasant. So I started to look for answers of how to get out of this.
Okay.
So I started with therapy, which was good, but I think one of the flaws of therapy is that it only addresses the mind, right? And this is when I deep dived into yoga, and yoga really addresses the mind, the body, and soul all at once. And by binding all of those three elements of who we are, you reconnect with yourself. And of course, the first way to do that is through breathing, right? So to give you an example, before I was into yoga, when I was having anxiety or panic attacks, I was trying to fight them with my mind, right? I was trying to counter think the negative thoughts.
Like how? Like by repeating.
By trying to be positive,
say,
yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's okay. Yeah.
By trying to be positive, right? But then when
is it working? Or?
It really was. It wasn't working, because when you're in a state of stress, it's hard to find the right solution, right? When you have like waves.
Clear. Yeah.
Exactly, right? But what yoga teaches you is that the first and foremost thing that you breathe. And of course, when you breathe using the belly breathing, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, right? Which is the nervous system which is in charge of restoring and healing. So when you do that, all of a sudden your heartbeat slows down, and then you're able to find answers. And funnily enough, if there's one thing I will remember from this anxiety episode, is that the answers actually are within you. You know, when you're able to reconnect with yourself through the help of yoga.
That's quite interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah. I mean, I think maybe a lot of people who went through the journey that we've been through, and actually it's still going on. It's another journey, so we still in a permanent, exploration of who we are and how do we react. It's very similar to how you handle fear. You know, fear as well. You in a very highly stressful situation, let's say your mind is not enough. You need something to support your mind, and of course breathing will be the first and maybe the main thing, providing oxygen to your cells, to your brain.
Absolutely.
Like reduce the level of adrenaline, not to enter into panic, because in panic mode we do very poor decision. So we want to keep this clear, So yeah, this is one of the first benefits that you felt in your life change. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the journey got even more interesting when I decided to go for my yoga teacher training, which is.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, what was the decision? What was the turn when you decided, okay, I don't know yoga. Okay, I learn yoga. Okay, I love yoga. Now I want to teach it. What made you decide?
So I was actually inspired by a friend of mine who went for yoga teacher training, and she was telling me how it made her more grounded.
Okay.
And that resonated with me right away, because
you feel you were not grounded. You feel you need it to.
Yeah.
So how can you explain that? Not grounded. I mean, this is like, sorry to cut you off, but it's interesting to see, because grounded is something that comes very often. So when you feel good, you feel grounded, and when you don't, how do you feel? How can you explain?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, there is an element of stillness, because living in Dubai, working as a banker, it's a very fast-paced life in a way, right? So you never really feel like you stopped. And with my episodes of anxiety, I somehow wanted to prepare myself for those episodes not to repeat. And for me, the best way to prepare myself and protect myself was to feel more grounded.
I see. That makes sense. So the will of make you more grounded, the feedback that you had from your friend was the trigger for you to.
Yeah.
So carry on your story. What's happened after?
So
where did you decide to go and how?
so what happened after that? So the yoga teacher training was an amazing experience, and it was really an experience of realigning and recentering, because as you know, in yoga we work with the different chakras, and each chakra is responsible for a set of emotions, right?
True.
And I'm making a parallel between the first time I went for meditation. So. Because I was searching for answers, right? And I remember the first time I sat to meditate, it was a challenging experience, to say the least. Because first of all, you have to sit, do nothing, sit in a position that you're not used to, so your knees hurt and everything. And then most importantly, you dive into yourself, and it can be ugly. Let's be honest, you know?
Yeah, let's say ugly. Yeah. I think it's definitely scary. I don't know about ugly, I don't know, but yeah. The hardest things to do is to do nothing, you know. Finding some stillness, eyes closed. I still can see today people not familiar with yoga in my class, they cannot keep their eyes closed. In Shavasana, everyone is laying down, I can see people staring. They're like expecting, is the class over? What should I do? There's nothing to do, relax man, just let it go, you know. And yeah, because when your eyes are closed, you don't see with your eyes, you see with your perception, your third eye, your feelings, who you really are. So I can understand, I can relate to that. And even today, I mean, even after all these years, you kind of digging deeper every time.
There's always always something new to discover. It's pretty interesting.
Who am I? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah, of course, it's a dynamic process. So that took me into my yoga teacher training, where you learn to really realign and recenter with yourself. And I think if there's really one main takeaway from that is, and it's my motto in a way, is that your inner world conditions your outer world, because you know we always think that to be happier or to feel more content, we need to have external factors. We need to have a better job.
Can you look here and repeat this? This is very interesting sentence.
Yeah. So my motto is your inner world conditions your outer world. So for anything new to happen, it first needs to happen in here.
Is this from you?
It is. I'm gonna copyright it. I'm gonna copyright it now.
Like digesting it, actually, yeah, it seems true, yeah. So the way you handle your intimate feelings and thoughts will manifest into you.
I'm a true believer of that. Because I think way too often we rely on external factors, external conditions to justify things.
I'm not happy because I don't have this.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, I'm not happy because my inner world is not happy. So instead of trying to wait to get something, maybe you can just look into it and see why is the
and I think there's a great book about that, which is the Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Okay.
Where basically he was imprisoned in the concentration camps in the Second World War.
Okay. And
the whole book goes about how he was one of the few who were able to survive. Mm-hmm. Because he was able to condition his mindset. Mm-hmm. So I think really that was, in short, of course there are a lot of things to say, but I think in short this is what.
This is how you can sum up.
And from a male perspective, I think what.
Yeah, this is my next question. So what is it to be? It's funny because usually people ask me these questions, so I'm happy to. What is it to be a male yoga teacher?
Well, I mean, most of the time people assume that because I do that because I'm immersed in a female environment. This is what they assume, but which is true in a way.
Wrong. I mean, it's kind of right. Yeah. I mean, this said, I see in my class particularly more men. I mean, I said a lot of men, but compared to just 3 years before, I mean, like regardless of COVID, I really can see that there's more men coming to class. I don't know if you see that also.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
But yoga, it was made by men for men. I mean, like originally. So, but now today, everything is like. Yeah. They say you see more leggings than.
That's true.
Than joggings and shorts. Yeah. All right. So this is what people say about you. You yoga teacher because of this reason.
Yeah, but it's not the reason. In all honesty,
It's one of the.
It's yeah. No, but so from a male perspective, I think again, as I was saying, what yoga does, it just recenters and rebalances yourself, right? By bringing the masculine and feminine together. And I think as a male, it's always very often to embrace the feminine side. You know, it's very you know what we can call feminine qualities, such as acceptance, self-love, letting go. I struggled with letting go for a long time, because for me letting go was a sign of weakness, right? For me it meant
it's very manly common, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the fact that you say that you went through depression and hard times,
anxiety,
it was not easy for me to say so, and I know there's many men, they consider that going through that, it's a weakness. When you pass this idea, you understand that it's okay, a vulnerability,
Absolutely.
It's temporary,
yeah.
But the real strength is to accept it and fight it. Fight as much as you can, do all the possible activities, yoga, whatever makes you happy and help you to fight this thing. So
yeah,
understand what you mean. Yeah.
No, absolutely, because I think it's really a vulnerability, because I think when you it's like losing a loved one. There is in order really to go through it, you have to go through an acceptance. You have to accept it.
That's true.
So I think this is where it's important, when you accept things, when you let go of your ego, of your male ego. Because I remember when I had anxiety, I couldn't tell it to anyone, because if I told it to my family, they would be like, you know, I mean, they don't say that, but you know, like as a man, you know, it's hard to admit that, you know.
I you know, because we know each other personally, so you know, I'm working a lot with mental health, and I did a program with the Dubai government to actually help people, and these things, what I say to a man, I say like even Batman get depressed, you know, like the whole point of this superhero is his dark side with his brain. So I think it's something very very human into all of us, men, women, regardless.
Yeah.
One last question, just to finish, because we are coming.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about, you know.
I'll be happy to have you for another talk, maybe specifically on men's and yoga. This is definitely like something we want to share. But I wanted today to introduce you to have viewers and to share your experience. You just mentioned something about calisthenics. So you train both yoga and calisthenics,
Yeah.
So thank you, Moustafa. It was so interesting, and you know, we can speak about it for hours. So where can you find you if people want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. So my Instagram is MOMZK, and I give calisthenics/HIIT classes 2 to 3 times a week at the outdoor gym at Sky Dubai.
I've been there. It's hard, guys. You're really gonna love it. Yeah, this is why I wanted Moustafa to join us for the talk today, because it's one of these rare person you can find with like a very genuine energy, and he gives a lot of knowledge and a lot of passion and energy every time in the class. Thank you, Moustafa, for being there here with us, sharing your feedback and experience.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. We'll have you again, I guess, pretty much soon. Let me know if you have any comments down here. If you have any question, we'll be happy to answer. Remember, subscribe and get your notification to follow up with us and to get a new episode coming soon. Thank you, guys. Namaste. You can follow me, of course, on my Instagram, and you know already, Allaoua Yoga. Moustafa, see you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Namaste.
Take care.